Okay, perfect. So what we have is the situation, the recent past, what you are unaware of or what is unknown, and then the recommendations for you in the month of June. Now, right off the bat, you guys are pretty heavily weighted with major arcanas. The 18, the 1, and the 15, so your shadow awareness and temptation. If you're not familiar with Tarot, there are major arcana cards, and then there are the minors, or pips, as people call them as well. The major arcanas, those are big things. They're life changers. They're huge milestones. They're also things that are destined. They're fated. They're meant to be. You don't really have control over them. You have 3 of those. So a lot of what's going to be happening for you in the month of June is out of your control. But the nice thing is when it's out of your control is that can help ease some of the burden from you as much as possible, because you can let go and let God. And, you know, prayer, visualizations, and those things to try and get the divine's help. And they do help. You know, you do need to remember, they are saying to remind you to ask for help, because the angels cannot assist us unless we ask for their help. They can sit all day long and facepalm and think, oh my gosh, why won't he or she ask for my help? We can help, just ask. But they will not help until you ask, because we have free will. And for them to come in and do anything without you requesting it is to impose their will upon you, and they cannot do that. The only time they will intercede is if it is life or death. Other than that, they will not step in unless you ask. So with 3 major arcanas, I'm looking at what you guys have. Ask for their help, and they will help you go through this. But a lot of this is destined to get you at a better place. Now, you do have 1 minor arcana, and those are things that are like daily, and your free will can shift those things and adjust those things. Okay, so starting off, you have the card Shadow, number 18. And in traditional tarot, this would be the Moon card. And this is all about, you know, our psychic abilities, our intuitive abilities, our emotions, our sensitivity. It also speaks about, you know, things changing, times changing. Often we will have, you know, secrets revealed, things illuminated, we'll discover things. But it also forces us, because what this card talks about with this is it's forcing us to face our dark side. You see how he's facing his dark side? So those deepest, darkest fears that we have, let me see if you guys are seeing it without a glare. There you go. But those deep, dark fears that we don't want to face, that we avoid, or maybe we do other things to not have to deal with it. So, you know, if we're going through a breakup and we have fears of being alone, and we don't want to, or we're going through a breakup and we're having a really hard time accepting it for what it is, and we don't, okay. If we don't want to let that person go, or the core reason we're not wanting to let that person go is because we have this deep fear of being alone, like a deep core wound, which everyone that's here has a deep core wound, fear of abandonment, or nearly everyone does. So that is triggered often with people, particularly if you go through a breakup, because you'll have this deep fear of abandonment. And what happens is if you go through a breakup or things are starting to fall apart, it forces you to face that. But because it is a deep fear, it's one of the deepest difficult fears for many, we don't want to face that. We don't want to confront that. So what will happen is we will receive epiphanies, we'll receive information. Something will come out to confirm our, you know, because the moon's also tied to intuitive knowing, intuition. So something will come to light that will be an aha, a confirmation of that very thing that we were fearing and dreading. But when we face those things, you see, he's staring it directly in the eyes. When we can overcome that fear and we can face it directly, then we can take the steps that we need to heal it. And it doesn't just have to be love. It can be, you know, fear of, you know, not succeeding at work, not getting the career, the position that you desire. It could be fear of not being able to financially support yourself or your family. We have a multitude of fears. But when we can face those fears head on, we can face those shadows, those dark sides of ourselves, because we all have a light and a dark side to ourselves. We can overcome it. We can heal it. Some of you have had to recently face that dark side. For a number of you, it is love related. Now, it could be something else. For some, maybe you've had to deal with codependency, drinking, alcoholism, pornography, different things. Maybe you've had to face that dark side of yourself and you've gotten some information that's been, aha, I have to fix this. I have to heal this. I have to move on. I've had a feeling I should change this for a really long time, but now, bam, it's in my face. I have to do something about it now. But for most, I get a sense it's about a relationship that you had a feeling it was not going well. Something like your spidey senses were set off. You knew something was off, but you ignored it in hopes that it would get better, in hopes that things would turn around, in hopes that it would not end. But regardless of the situation that you're in, I get that many of you have recently received some information, some clarification, some illumination has been put on that situation or relationship that has had you face these fears, face these things head on in order to heal those, to release, to overcome. Because what you have in the recent past is you have obstacles and challenges. And it's a number 5, and 5 is all about changes. Nothing ever stays the same. And if you can see, it's as though she's like on this narrow bridge and she's getting ready to cross it, but the gap is, or he, yeah, we'll say he, because those toes do not look like they have had a pedicure. Look at that. All raggedy. Definitely man feet. Definitely man feet. But he's getting ready to cross over this. And you can see that there's the water below. And he's got the water. And, you know, misstep, you're going to fall down this canyon into the water. Sure death. Sure death. But the gap isn't that big. It's something. If he just took a large step, he would easily walk over it. Not a problem. But being, see how there's like this circle? Sometimes when we have challenges come up, we are so terrified. We're like immobilized that we just don't know how to overcome it. We don't know how to face it. We don't know how to step over that. And this traditional tarot, this would be a wand card, and wands are all about, you know, passion, drive, the things that motivate us, inspire us. But you've had an obstacle come up with this person, this situation. Many of you, some information that you received that has just made you think, okay, this is impossible. You know, I can't bridge this gap. We can't overcome this. I'm not going to be able to figure this out. And when we get spun up about something that, you know, especially if it's something that's our deepest, darkest fear, and then we have something that's bringing that to the surface, we're like, holy crap. I don't know what to do with this. I can't handle this. We sometimes will go into the hermit phase. We don't want to talk to people. We don't want to reach out to friends for help, which could very well be a solution. We don't want to have those difficult conversations to repair or end the relationship, which would again be a solution, because we're just overwhelmed. And when we're really overwhelmed with something, particularly our darkest fears, what happens is we have a difficulty getting clarity. We have a really hard time getting our messages, listening to our intuition, knowing what's my next step? Where do I go from here? Because we really kind of shut ourselves off from that. When if we can step back and look at it, we've got it's actually interesting. We have a circle here, and there. Actually, in all of them, here and there. Some of you are completing a cycle. They're saying you've come full circle. And this change that you're going through, this recent information that you've received that has really rocked you to the core, is helping you come full circle for most of you with regards to love and healing a core wound, a core fear of yours. And for some of you, it is not feeling worthy, to help you come to a state of loving yourself, knowing your value, knowing your worth, knowing that you're amazing, knowing that you deserve the best, and working toward that and expecting that. And when you have something that comes up that is not, to free yourself from that and to create what you desire. But you've come full circle. So you've come full circle. But this, for most of you, it was some information that you received. It was some unexpected, rapid information that came in. It rocked you to the core. But you're going to rise like the phoenix. If you look, there's like this phoenix bird insignia by his feet. By coming full circle and healing yourself and remembering your value and coming to a place of loving yourself. Because some of you have really been hard on yourselves and critical of yourself. You're thinking, okay, what did I do? How did I mess this up? You know, why can't I get the job? Why can't I get relationships to work? Why can't I get this relationship to work? No matter what I try, it just doesn't work. And you're putting the blame on yourself. But you don't need to do that because you're amazing. They're bringing you full circle to heal those things that are keeping you from loving yourself and stepping in your power to get the things that you desire. Okay. Now, as far as what you are not aware of, you have the two major arcanas over here. Now, the first one you have is awareness. This is number 1. In traditional tarot, this would be the Magician. And the Magician is very powerful. Like if you looked at the Rider-Waite or the Gilded. Actually, I have Gilded typically that I use. I have them both, but I prefer Gilded. It'll show the Magician he has all 4 elements. So he has the wand, he has the sword, he has the pentacles, he has the cups, everything in his hands to create what he desires. You have everything that you need. You're not aware of that though, because again, these are cards that are talking about what you are not aware of, what you don't know, what you're not realizing. You have all the tools that you need to create the things that you desire. You have the wisdom, you have the ability, you have the love, you have the willpower, you have the capabilities. They're saying you also have the psychic intuitive knowing, because for some of you, this situation that you're going through, you've known for a while that something was off, that something needed to be done, but you weren't trusting it. Because again, you didn't realize your power. You didn't realize, okay, I'm getting this right. Because if you would, you would be amazed. Because you get a lot of information. They're trying to help you create the reality that you want. You have everything you need to create what you want. To build, I get for most of you, to build the life, the family, the home foundation that you've been longing for, that you've been desiring. Now for some, it could be career. I have been trying with all these readings to try and get career into them. But I will be honest, every single one has been focused on love. Oops. Hold on 1 second. Now you guys know what I've been doing with the Yorkies when they bark. I spray them with a squirt gun. You're in on my secret now. But same thing for you guys. Everything's been focused on love. And it appears this as well, because they're saying that this hope, this dream for most of you that you've been trying to build is home, it's family, it's marriage, building a foundation with someone that can withstand the test of time. But there have been struggles. And when we come across struggles, we can look at, okay, how am I going to fight and fix this? We can just throw in the towel. We can, or sometimes we can just totally give up. Some of you, because some of you almost have a feeling like this person is like your last chance, your last hope for that. And it's not going well for some of you. It has ended. And they want you to step into your power now, because you're at a state where you just totally want to give up. You just want to give up. You've totally lost faith. You don't think that love is possible. You don't think getting a relationship, having those things that you desire is possible. But they want you to know that it is. It really is. You have the power to create that. Now for some, it's not going to be with this person. Now there could be some of you that you have the power to fix things. But I get for a number of you, this is to help you step in your power, because they're going to be bringing you something better. They don't want you to give up. They don't want you to lose faith. They don't want you to lose hope. They want you to envision those things that you desire and have hope and faith that you're going to get them. Because for some of you, you have been so down and hard on yourselves. And you know, the universe will give us what we're thinking about or where we are at energetically. So if you're thinking, okay, I'm just not good enough, I'm not worthy, I can't make things work out, there's something wrong with me. If you're constantly beating yourself up and criticizing yourself and thinking that something's wrong with you, you will find that you keep manifesting these relationships where someone doesn't appreciate you, where you are a second option for them, or they're not giving you their all. But energetically, that stems because you're not giving yourself that all. You're not realizing you're amazing. You're a freaking magician. Step into your power. Reclaim your power. They want you to remember that. They want you to know that, because when you step into your power and you remember, I'm amazing and I love me and I have so much to give to someone else, then what you're going to do is you're going to start finding someone that also is healed and whole and loves themselves. And then you're going to have that relationship that you desire. Because if we put lists and manifestation lists together and we're like, okay, I want a person who is emotionally healthy, emotionally mature, who can give to a relationship. You're asking for someone who loves themselves, who's not beating themselves up, who's not criticizing, tearing themselves down all the time. That's what you want. If you want a healthy relationship with someone who's healthy emotionally, ready to do those things. But if you are not at that state, you're not going to be able to manifest that and bring that in. So you have to be what you want to bring in. So if you're wanting someone that's emotionally stable, sound, they've done their healing, they're ready to give equally, ready to be a solid partner that can be counted on, you need to heal yourself to know that I am worthy of that. I'm amazing. And you will then pull that into you. Because when those things, your desires with where you are energetically, emotionally, are in alignment, that's when you will see those things physically manifest. And it's a good trigger. You can always tell that, oh, do I still need healing to do? Are there things that I still need to work on by what's going on in your physical environment? So if you're not seeing things manifest that are these things that you desire, not just the big, huge dreams, like, maybe you want a house in Malibu, not just the big stuff, but even smaller things. If you notice that you're not getting these little blessings and these things that you want, God hasn't forgotten about you. God's just helping you heal and remember how amazing you are. Just remember you're the magician, and then you'll see those things rolling. So if you're not, then sit down and take a look. Okay, what's keeping me from stepping into my power? What can I work on? What can I tweak? Because oftentimes it's really not that difficult to overcome. It's just listening to the guidance that we're getting to overcome those things. Because a lot of you have been getting a lot of intuitive information on how to repair that. They just start trying to help you step into it. Because you're the magician. You really can create anything that you want. You really, really can. So it's an exciting time. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have card 15, which in this deck is called Temptation. In traditional tarot, this is the devil. And this is all about addictions, self-limiting behaviors, beliefs, patterns. This can talk about people that have codependent tendencies, addictions, alcoholism, drugs, pornography. It can speak of people that put too much emphasis on things in the physical world, particularly sexual, deviant things. I mean, we all have our vices, but if the vices are way off to the left, that is an indication that is something that, the devil card will bring to our attention. Because typically when we have those behaviors, especially to the extreme, when we're totally out of balance. So say if someone's, drinking, and they're not talking about drink with you guys, but it's sexual things. But we'll use drinking. We'll keep it PG. If someone has a drinking addiction, what they're doing is, it's the devil. They're chained to this. They're stuck to this. Essentially, they're stuck to their dark side. And it's because they have disconnected themselves from God. There is a hole. There's a void that they are trying to fill. And people can fill those holes with anything. They can fill it with shopping. They can fill it with food. They can fill it with just sitting at home looking at pornography online, smoking. I mean, there's a ton of vices that you can try to fill a void with. But when we have the void, it's because there's love that's missing. There's light that's missing. We don't have the connection with God. We don't have that connection with love. We're not loving ourselves, which means we can't love others. And we will try to fill it with a void. We'll try to fill that void with something else. But in the end, it just makes us feel bad. And it will often make us feel as though we're doing something wrong, and it will make us beat ourselves up. And we all have vices. We all do. Every single one of us. It's just, it can go to the extreme. And in traditional tarot, when you look at the devil card, you will see a man and a woman chained to the devil. And the interesting thing is with that card, if you look at the traditional tarot, it is, actually, let me see if I can pull them out for you real quick. I have my gilded. But when you look at them, if you look at the Lover's card, there are some similarities, because in the Lover's card, you see a man and a woman on either side of an angel, typically, in most of the decks. So it really is the opposite, light versus dark. But when it comes to, okay, yeah, it's not in the gilded. Yeah, my gilded do not have that. But if you look at, yeah, my Gilda don't. Those are handy. I'm not going to stop this and get up to go grab my Rider Waite. So, but if you look at the Rider Waite, you have the lovers. They're on each side of an angel. They're not chained to anything. It's light. It's love. When you look at the devil card, you'll have a man and woman chained to either side of the devil, and that's the dark side. It does talk about addictions. It could be S&M. I get for some of you, okay, I get for most of you, this is love related. There's something connected to love, filling a void. And I get that. Okay. So what they're saying is, some of you are not aware you were in a relationship or you had a new love interest. For some of you, there wasn't firm commitment yet. But you had this new love interest, a new relationship, something early on, and this person has left you. The reason that you're unaware is because they are chained to someone else. And they are having difficulty freeing themselves from that person. And I get for some that's like, for some it could be karmic. I get for some there's children involved. So, you know, the devil looks all dark and such, but they're trying to do right by their kids, keep their family together. And for some, for some it's a sexual connection. Maybe there's S&M with this other person that keeps pulling them back. It's that dark side that keeps pulling them back. They're like, oh, I don't want to be with them, but the sex is really good. So when that person calls them, they'll return to them. But they keep being pulled to this person. They feel shackled. They feel stuck with this person. And for some of them, they actually don't want to be with that person because they've tried to end it, but they keep being pulled back, which is why you've had some sudden breakup. Things broke apart in your relationship. Now, as far as what they're recommending you do, remember again, they were saying the magician, step in your power. Remember that you're amazing. You have the card, Goddess of Compassion. I'm going to hold this up while I read it. Self-criticism is diminishing your sense of self-worth. See how sad she's looking, and see how she's kind of like pulling her arms and stuff into herself. And it's almost like she's covered with a scarf. She's cloaking herself. She's hiding herself because of not valuing herself. You know, if we're really down and not feeling good about ourselves, we don't want to go out. We don't want to be seen by friends because we just feel blah. We don't want people to see us like this, but it's really stemming because we're just not feeling worthy. We're really beating ourselves up. So, you know, say maybe we put on a little extra weight and we're like, okay, I can't go out with my friends. I can't go do that. We will cloak ourselves. We will hide ourselves because we're just not feeling good about ourselves. We're not feeling worthy. We're not feeling amazing. We're not feeling like the powerful magician that we are. Now I am going to, let me get this book and actually read this for you. Okay. Actually, it's close enough you guys can see it. Okay. The Goddess of Compassion has shown up in your reading today to ask you to be more compassionate towards yourself. At the core of every living thing, only love exists. Your personality and the role you play in this life is only transitory and ultimately an illusion. All that you perceive to be good or bad are necessary aspects of who you are. Positive and negative qualities exist in everyone and in everything. A more accurate description of positive and negative is yin and yang, for in reality there is neither positive nor negative, only opposite qualities which together make us whole. Self-criticism is diminishing your sense of self-worth and keeping you in the illusion that you need to improve in order to be worthy of success, happiness, and fulfillment. Have compassion, love and accept all of who you are, as you are, and stop striving for something that is impossible to attain. Through love, your life magically transforms. There's something that you can do. It's an easy exercise that will start to help you heal yourself. And I've recommended this exercise before in videos, but some of you, they're recommending you start doing this every day. So our eyes are the seat of our soul. They do not change in our lifetimes. It's funny, I'll do healing work on people and I'll call them after their healing session and work on people all over the world. And when I call them, I'll, know what their eye color is, or their parents, whoever wasn't, showed up in the healing session. And they're shocked. But it's because I'll work on multiple lifetimes, current, past lifetimes, everything. But the eye color is always the exact same. Skin color may change, hair color may change, it usually does, but the eyes never change. That's why you can walk past a stranger, and if you look them in the eyes, sometimes you'll have that aha, that kind of like, I feel like I know them, but I have no clue who they are. They're a complete stranger. But it's because when you look in their eyes, that is the seat of their soul. So what happens is if we are not loving ourselves, if we are beating ourselves up because we think we have something that's wrong with us, bad, dark, however you want to view it, we think that there's something wrong, which is keeping us from loving ourselves, and we beat ourselves up and criticize ourselves, and we don't think we can have these things that we desire. It's stemming, ultimately, when you boil it all down, it's because you don't love yourself. We don't love ourselves. An easy way to fix that is to start looking yourself directly in the eyes in the mirror every day. And you can do it twice a day. You can do it more times per day. And when you look yourself directly in the eyes, say, I love you 3 times in a row. So, I love you, I love you, I love you. When you do that initially, you're going to find it's difficult. You don't want to do it. You may try to look away. You may laugh. You may actually put off even doing it. You'll make excuses for days of, oh, I was just so tired last night. I just didn't have time. But eventually you'll buckle down and you'll start to do it. And what you'll find at some point is it will make you emotional. So it oftentimes will make you cry. It's okay. It's good. Cry. Let yourself cry, because what that means is you're starting to heal that. Because when you don't love yourself and you're looking directly in your eyes and your soul knows you don't love yourself, it's hard. It is hard to do that, but it is powerful. It will help you start to heal. It will help you step into your power. Eventually you will realize that you can do it, and you can do it with vigor, with excitement, with passion. That's when you know you are starting to love yourself again. So start doing that. So there are some meditations online that you guys can do. And there are a couple that I would highly recommend. Cassidy Kane has, because some of you, this worth stuff is stemming from your childhood. And Cassidy Kane has a meditation, and her webpage, I believe, is Twin Flames 1111. And she has a Healing Your Inner Child meditation. I think it's short. I think it's like 30 minutes or something. It's funny. The first time I listened to that, I'm a quantum touch energy medicine practitioner. And so for years been doing healing work. And that's one of the different methods that I use when I do healing for inner child work. And it was so funny because I heard her meditation once and I'm like, that's exactly what I do occasionally with healing some inner child stuff. So it's very powerful and it's very effective. So if you have some things that need to be healed from your childhood, relationship with your father, your mother, that would benefit you and help you heal that. Then there is, for some of you, to try and step into your goddess power, to start remembering you are the magician. You have control. You can create these things that you want. And you're amazing. To do some more heavier work, which is very effective. Jill and Ramey with Twin Flame Healers, they have a meditation that you can purchase. I believe their webpage, I think, is Twin Flame Healers. But if you Google Twin Flame Healers, their webpage will pop at the top. They have a meditation. It is, I think it's called Returning to the Goddess. It's like a 4 or 5, well, it's a 4-week, but it's actually 5 parts. It's 5 parts that you do. And that will help you heal a lot of stuff. And for some of you, you can just go see a professional healer. I mean, these are recommendations of things that you can do at your home, because they're saying that some of you just think that this is just so hard. It's so hard to heal this. I've been dealing with this my whole life, and I've gone to see psychologists and I've tried to go see therapists and I just can't get this healed. Well, the reason you can't is it's an energetic thing. It really is. There's stuff that has to be healed in your soul. Therapists are great. Counselors are great. They really are. But when it comes to something that is energetic, especially most of us have past lives. So we will bring things from past lives that we're not even aware of in this lifetime. And when you do energy healing, you will heal all that. So then you'll be like, dang, I've done a couple sessions with a healer and I'm feeling remarkable. I've been feeling better than I have my whole life. Or they're saying for some of you, you have done a lot of work. There's still these things that you're like, how in the heck am I going to get rid of these? Do those meditations. And you may be guided to do some other meditations, but whatever meditations you're being guided to do those. Because you'll find that's what's going to finally set you free and help you step into your own power.